that ready then? Lovely, thank you. Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Stewatry Divisional Licensing Board on the 7th of October 2022. Welcome to everybody online. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Can I remind members of the good practice guidance, including muting microphones, switching off the video when not addressing the meeting. Should you wish to contribute to any item, please type speak in the Teams chat function or raise your virtual hand and you'll be invited to speak in order. Should your question or issue be raised by a previous speaker, please withdraw your request so we can deal with business as efficiently as possible. Can everyone hear me clearly enough?
Yes.
Yep, thank you. Right. Item 1, Sedran apologies and convener's approval for remote participation. Can we just check on attendance, please?
Thank you, convener. So we have apologies with Councillor Howie and Councillor Beretti's not yet sat his training. So we've got 3 members present this morning, so we are quorate and may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 2, any declarations of interest on anything in the agenda? I have none. I'm assuming that's all okay, so yeah. Right, okay. Right, minutes of the meeting of the 30th of August. Any comments or are we happy with those?
Happy to approve, Kim.
Thank you very much. Andy there? Yes, he is. Right. Okay. Item 4 are the applications for occasional licenses and extended hours granted under delegated authority. Do we just take this as a whole list together? I can't remember, Caroline.
That's okay, convener. Yeah, it's just for noting this item, convener.
Okay. Yes, okay, that's fine. I've just had a message from Andy saying, can I be heard?
It's fine, sorry, convener. Yes.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Andy.
No problem.
Okay, so item 4, is everybody happy to note?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy to know.
Thank you. Item 5 is applications for minor variations granted under delegated authority. Are we happy to note?
Noted.
Thank you. Item 6 is the surrender of the premises license. Yeah, hang on. So this was the Royal Hotel that we were due to discuss last time, and I think we're just happy to note that that has now been surrendered. Is that the procedure?
Yeah, happy to note, Chair.
Thank you. So we move on to the applications. So item 7 of the agenda is a new licenses application from Auchenken Community Store, Hucon House, Main Street, Auchenken. Applicant is the Auchenken Initiative. So maybe pass over to Caroline to lead us into this.
Thank you, convener. So this is an application for a new premises licence in respect of Auchenken Community Store. I understand we've got Anne Williams with us this morning. I can see her on the screen. Miss Williams, just checking you can hear me loud and clear.
I can, thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. I'll just go briefly through the report, members. So the application was received on the 7th of July 2022. We've undergone the statutory consultation process in terms of display of the site notice. It was displayed for a continuous period of 21 days from the 2nd of September to the 24th September 2022 on the board's website, and also I can confirm that signed confirmation of site notice from the applicant has been received. We've got satisfactory section 50 certificates in, and also the disabled access and facilities statement. In terms of objections and representations, the last date was the 23rd of September 2022. and no objections or representations have been received. We have a clear police report, and the LSO report advises no adverse comment. So in terms of suggested procedure, convener, you maybe just wish to hear from Police Scotland, and then the LSO with questions, and then allow Miss Williams to speak on behalf of the application with any questions from yourselves before going into session. And of course, I'm here to give advice and assistance as required. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Who do we have on for the Police Scotland?
Morning, Sergeant Crozier. We have no objections in relation to this application.
Lovely, thank you very much. And our LSO?
Yes,
Mary?
thank you, convener. Nothing further to add to my report. No adverse comments.
Lovely, thank you. Anne?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for letting me communicate. Auchencairn Initiative is a local charity that's been going since before 2005 to save the village post office, to manage village assets, and to build our community hub where the shop operates from. Until 31st of March this year, it was leaseholders who managed it, but on then giving up to secure the shop for the village, the Auchencairn Initiative, with its trading arm, took it on as a community business. Any profit we make goes back into the village. We manage other community assets, including affordable flat and a small business unit, the park and the allotments. The store is run by part-time local staff and volunteers. We have a pool of 20 volunteers who help in the shop, collect cash and carry, do the washing, the cleaning. We're generally open from 8 till 6. We do evening takeaways till 6, and it's a vital hub of the village. We do cut down car journeys by residents and support people with no transport, and have occasional events. We've supported a lot of tourism during the summer, and the alcohol takeaway especially is very important to our viability. We run occasional evening events, and the shop has had occasional licenses since before COVID, and there's been no issues in the community. We've had support from South of Scotland Enterprise to help us initially set up, and we've had consultancy from the Plunkett Foundation to help us get all the necessary procedures, etc., that we need. I do understand from the officer's application that although we put in 10 a.m. till 10 p.m., it's against the policy to sell alcohol before 10:30 in the morning. We do understand that. It would be very rare for us to sell alcohol before then anyway, at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else we need to do, Caroline, or do we have all the information now?
Convener, that would be a matter for yourselves, but you may wish to ask Miss William any questions if you've got any in relation to our application.
Okay, any questions from other elected members? Andy?
Yeah, really, I suppose it's a question for Caroline, perhaps. 2.5 on the agenda item 7, it says that signed confirmation of site notice has yet been received. I'm taking it that says it's not yet been received. And if that is the case, does that influence our decision making? Go on.
Beg your pardon, Councillor. Yeah, the signed confirmation of site notice has been received, so you can proceed with this item. Excellent, thank you. And further to that, on Appendix 2, 2.1, it's the issue that Anne's already touched on, it being out with the Stewatry licensing hours policy. Are we able to accept an amendment at this point in order to make sure that we can deal with this application? Thank you. Yeah, the answer is yes. Yes, in terms of your policy statement, the commencement hour is 10:30 a.m. This application is requesting a 10 a.m. for on sales, which is out with your policy. So the applicant would have to prove an exceptional reasons as to why they're asking for 10 a.m. or it may be indeed the case that they're unable to state the exceptional reasons as why the policy hours should not apply to them. They could actually propose a modification to their application and request the 10:30 a.m. commencement hour, and that would bring it within policy. So you may wish to ask Ms Williams whether she's prepared to modify the application to bring it within policy for the commencement hours Monday to Sunday on sales to 10:30 a.m.
Thanks, Caroline. I think that Anne did actually say that would be the case, that we're prepared to do that, but perhaps we should get that recorded.
Yes, I'm happy to confirm that we fully accept the policy. We don't want to make any exceptional reasons, and 10:30 is totally acceptable to us, and we understand that's policy.
Lovely, thank you. So with that taken into place, any other comments from elected members? I have none.
No, convener.
Okay, thank you. So are we? Yep, thank you. So are we happy to go ahead to grant this license, please? Just looking to.
Happy, convener.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to grant.
Thank you very much. Caroline, do you want us to close that?
Yes,
one
of
off
course,
then?
convener, thank you. So, Ms Williams, your application has been granted, subject to the modifications that you've requested. Commencement hour Monday to Sunday is 10:30 a.m, which brings it within the board policy. You will be notified of the decision in writing in early course, and your premises licence will be sent to you in early course. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I just ask, do we have to display it over the door, or is it just displayed inside?
Caroline,
You're obliged to display. Sorry.
yeah, Caroline, carry on. We've lost your sound.
Caroline, you're on mute.
We appear to have lost her.
Convener, I'm happy to discuss this outside the meeting with Cheryl Syme.
Right. Okay, I've just seen Sharon Davidson come in. Can we?
Yeah. Apologies. I think we've lost Caroline there. It's the summary of premises license that you must display, and it must be displayed inside the premises. But I'm sure the LSO will be in touch in due course, and they will make sure that everything's okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anne.
Thank you very much for your attention this morning. Do I just leave now, or do you just get rid of me? How does it work?
You just leave on your screen.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Right, so have we lost? I can't see Caroline on my screen, so.
Shall I give her a call on our telephone, convener, just see if there's a problem?
Yeah, thank you. She may be a net connection problem.
It could be. Maybe we want to just go to a quick interval just while I contact her, if your approval of that.
If that's okay with everybody, just quickly, we just get Caroline back, hopefully.
Thank you.
Okay. Lovely, thank you. Thank you for your patience with the slight intermission there. So item 8 is a new premises application for Gather at Lygon in Gatehouse of Fleet. The applicant is Lygon Outdoor Limited. Caroline, over to you.
Thank you, convener. I understand we've got Duncan McConchie, I beg your pardon, here to speak to the application. Mr. McConchie, just checking that you can hear me loud and clear, and hopefully I won't disappear this time. So, members, this is an application for a new premises licence in respect of Gather in Lygon and Gatehouse of Fleet. The application was received on the 29th of August 2022. We've gone through the statutory consultation process, although there were no neighbours to notify in this instance. In terms of the advertising of the site notice and the notice on of the application on our webpage, the 21-day continuous period was the 2nd of September to the 24th of September 2022. Contrary to what paragraph 2.5 of the report says, I can confirm that signed confirmation of site notice has been received. We've also received the satisfactory Section 50 certificates and disabled access and facility statement in relation to the application. The last date for objections and representations was the 23rd of September 2022. No objections have been received. You'll note that at Appendix 1 of the report, the application is detailed. At Appendix 2, we have the LSO report advising no adverse comments. And you do have a planning representation detailed at Appendix 3. So in terms of suggested procedure, convener, you may just wish to hear from the police who have confirmed a clear report, hear from the LSO any questions, consider and digest the terms of the planning representation at Appendix 3, and thereafter allow Mr McConchie to speak to his application. Thereafter, any questions from yourselves, and allow Mr McConchie an opportunity to sum up prior to going into session. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. Can we just have confirmation from Police Scotland, please?
Yes, no adverse comments for ourselves in respect to this application.
Lovely, thank you very much. And from Mary, our LSO?
Yes, thank you, convener. No adverse comments from myself either, nothing further to add to my report.
Lovely, thank you. Do we have a planning representative aboard, or we just take the paperwork?
So, convener, you've now heard from the LSO in relation to the planning representation. May just wish to read it, digest its terms, ask me any questions in relation to it prior to allowing Mr McConchie to speak to his application. Thank you.
Just looking for... is this the sheet that says, oh, actually, yeah, okay, internal memo. Have either of the elected members got any questions on that Appendix 3?
Chair, I think we have to let Mr McConaughey have his representation before we go on to that.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, right. Okay, let's hand over to Duncan to speak.
Thank you, convener. This is my wife Vicky, and we are both owners of Lygon near Gatehouse. Initially, we had hoped to do this application as a major variation to our licence at GG's Yard, which we already have a premises licence for. However, it was deemed to be physically too far between the premises to be able to be passed under a major variation. So we have proceeded along the route of a separate premises licence for Gather. Gather is a restaurant bistro situated atop our hill overlooking the Solway coast, offering food and drink 7 days a week. And we were unfortunate enough to start the build before COVID, stop the build during COVID, and then start the build and complete the build in October 2020. At which point we realised that outdoor dining was going to be so much more important given the restrictions that were in place at the time, where drinking wasn't allowed inside, spacing inside was very different. And so at the time of the build, we amended the outdoor seating space to give us more capacity, and omitted to then have that signed off under planning, which we're grateful, which was raised by planning during the process of the application. Duly, immediately as we found that out, we submitted a planning application for retrospective planning to amend the external layout, which was submitted days after the issue was raised. However, given the pressures that are on the planning department, it was only yesterday we had an email from the planning team to say that our application had been rejected because there was a dimension missing from one of the drawings. So we resubmitted the drawings immediately yesterday with the right dimension on, and we await for that to be officially registered. But it's an application that is sitting with planning officers as a retrospective to pass the existing layout for the outdoor seating area. So we would rather it wasn't in that situation, but that's where we are. We'd just like to, thank the LSO and our licensing team at Dumfries and Galloway Council for being so supportive during this process.
Lovely, thank you. So how do we proceed with this, Caroline, if we're still awaiting a confirmation from planning? And I know they are under a lot of pressure at the moment.
Okay, convener. So you're aware that your legal remit here is you're concerned with the sale of alcohol, and obviously planning is under a separate statutory hat. So we're not here to chat about planning matters, obviously, and planning have not objected to the application. As far as I understand it, I've been in touch with the planning department just to kind of get a gist of what's going on here, and it seems to be the case that planning permission may be required for part of that outside area. You've got two options here, in my view. You can just, in terms of proportionality, just consider this application as it's requested with your licensing hat. Clearly, if you grant the application and part of the outside drinking area is not able to operate because it would be in breach of planning permission, then obviously that would be an issue for Mr McConshay not to operate part of the outside area or the whole outside area until planning permission is either sought, granted, or indeed rejected. Alternatively, you could defer consideration of this item, which obviously would probably cause Mr McConshay, I would imagine, considerable commercial, he would be ill at ease because you would be obviously denying him an opportunity to get his business up and running, and outside area is only part of the application. So you may wish to consider just dealing with this and allowing Mr McConshay to get the planning matters sorted out with our planning team. And if you're minded that there are no legal grounds for refusal on the liquor licensing side, but I would suggest you put the planning matter to the side and let Mr McConshay deal with planning. That's just my suggestion, convener. Thanks.
No, lovely. Thank you for that. Obviously, that's the first time I've come across something like that at the moment. So can I just look to Councillor Campbell, Councillor McFarlane for your view on proceeding and allowing the planning to follow and then open up the whole area when they can?
Yeah, convener, I have no issues. I think Caroline's eloquently outlined our options. I think I'm minded that we should perhaps deal with this as a licensing application and let planning resolve their issues. Thanks.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Campbell?
Yeah, same for me, convener. I think we should follow the legal advice that we've received and proceed on that basis.
Lovely, thank you. And I'm certainly of that view. So that is an agreement. Just Caroline, just to clear this one up then.
Thank you, convener. So that's just for the sake of clarity there, convener, that's a grant by the board today of the application in its entirety. Okay, Mr McConshay, so the licensing board have granted your application in its entirety. Obviously, you are clearly mindful of the planning issues. It's not a matter for the licensing board. If it is the case that you do require planning permission for all or part of the outside area, obviously you're in communication with the planning team, and just be mindful of, you have the licensing consent. What planning do is a matter for them, but your application on the licensing side has been granted in its entirety today by members of the board. You will be notified of that decision in writing in early course, and you will receive your premises licence in the post in early course. Thank you.
Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much for coming on. Okay, right, let's proceed. Agenda item 9, which is another new premises licence for Harris & Co at 111 King Street, Castle Douglas. The applicant Lindsay Hogg and Christopher Bain. Caroline, just to...
Thank you, convener, and thank you. I understand we've got Christopher Bain here, and just checking whether Mr. Bain can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hi there, thank you.
Well,
so,
welcome to the meeting.
Members, this is an application for a new premises licence in respect of Harris & Co at King Street in Castle Douglas. The application was received on the 31st of August 2022. We've undergone the statutory consultation procedure in terms of notification of the application. The 21-day continuous period was from the 10th of September to the 2nd of October 2022. The site notice was also displayed for that continuous 21-day period. Contrary to paragraph 2.5 of the report, I can confirm that the signed confirmation of site notice has been received. We also have in the satisfactory section 50 certificates, and also the disabled access and facility statement. I can also confirm, contrary to para 3.2 of the report, that no objections or representations have been received. The application is detailed at Appendix 1 of the report. The LSO report advising no adverse comments is also detailed at Appendix 2 with a layout plan and some useful photographs of the premises, and we have a clear police report as well. So in terms of suggested procedure, convener, you may wish to hear from the police, the LSO with any questions, then hear from the applicant, Mr. Bain, to speak on behalf of his application, and then any questions from yourselves prior to going into session. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. So, Police Scotland, this confirmation, please.
Thank you. Yeah, just to confirm, no adverse comments regarding this application from Police Scotland.
Lovely, thank you very much. Mary for the LSO.
Yes, thank you, convener. I provided photographs of the areas, the accessible area and the inaccessible area. Hopefully that you'll find those helpful. The window display at the front of the building is what we would class as the inaccessible area. So I really just wanted to point out to members at paragraph 3 that this would allow the promotion of alcohol. We've only have 2 premises, I think, at the moment in the area that allows alcohol, that the window display area is their inaccessible area. So this would allow the promotion of alcohol in the window. However, I don't believe for 1 minute that it's the intention of the applicant to use the window display for that promotion. But I felt as if I had to point this out to members. I really don't have any adverse comments to make.
Lovely, thank you very much. Chris.
Hello. Let me just get my camera.
Speak to you. Yeah.
Yes. Hello. So yes, Harris & Co. we set up in March 2020, just before COVID changed everything. We had to adapt very quickly, and now we have been operating ever since under the occasional licenses, providing a new and unique shopping experience to the people of Castle Douglas and the wider area. We offer unique handcrafted products from an alcohol point of view, promoting local businesses, local producers, both from food and alcohol, as well as more artisanal products from around the world. We feel we've raised the profile in a lot of ways for Castle Douglas King Street, and worked together quite closely with local charities and schools to help wherever we can by networking together. We we obviously local employment's been something we've created as well for some people, and also the wine tastings we offer regularly is a way we feel of educating a lot of our customers as well, and promoting the notion of drinking less and drinking better in a lot of ways is what we really try to put forward. So yes, anything else, any questions?
Lovely, thank you. Have our elected members got any questions to the applicant? Any comments?
Yes, Convener. Yes, the only thing I've got is in Appendix 2, Item 3. It talks about the capacity of alcohol display, and then identifies mandatory condition 13.1. I'm not sure I fully understand that, and wonder if Caroline might be able to advise us, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Caroline.
Yeah, I think what the LSO can probably speak to it better than I was alluding to about the mandatory condition is that you can only have a drinks promotion in a single area that's inaccessible to the public, and also a separate area that's agreed between the board and the licence holder, and also in a separate tasting room. So here, the inaccessible area to the public is the window display, and then your single area agreed between yourselves and the licence holder, as I understand it, is going to be the kind of like whole floor area. Drinks promotions are prohibited in law from taking place within a 200-metre vicinity of the boundary of the premises if that alcohol is linked to the premises. But my view is that a window display, drinks promotions within the window facing out in that inner window would not breach that 200-metre vicinity rule. So I think what Mary, the LSO, was just alluding to was bringing it to your attention as a mandatory condition where your alcohol displays are permitted.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. Further to that, 3.3, it says, should members agree these areas, this would allow the promotion of alcohol in the window display, something that Scottish Government guidance discourages. If we are to approve this, would that set a precedent?
I'm going to defer to Mayor LSO there, because my view is that the single and accessible area being the window is fine, and as long as you're happy with having that one single area being the shop floor, you approve that, that's fine as well. I'm going to defer to Mayor LSO maybe to speak to what she's saying in paragraph 3.3, if that's okay, Councillor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Mary.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Yes, there are two. It would set a precedent. There are two premises already within the area that do have their alcohol display area in the window. It's just about the promotion of they'll be able to put posters up to display the alcohol in that area, because that's where you're allowed to put your promotional material within your alcohol display area. I'm maybe not trying, I hope that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
Do you want me to, can I speak?
Yes, please, yes, come back.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
There are no prices noticed in the window. There are no promotional pricing in the window. There's nothing like that. It's part of the wider package of what we offer. The majority of what's actually displayed in the window will be hampers, will be foodstuffs. Any bottles of wine or any bottles of alcohol as such in the window is part of the wider package rather than actually a singularly promoted alcohol product.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe that was the reason that the alcohol display area was to be put in the window, was for promotion of any display. And I think Mr. Chris has just confirmed that.
Right, okay. So are we okay to proceed with that information then? So this is a new one on me. Caroline or Mary?
Convener, in terms of the law, I'm not concerned with regard to the inaccessible area being that inside window display area. If you're happy with one single area that is accessible to the public being that floor area as per the layout plan.
Lovely,
And
thank
I
you.
think that's, and I do believe that Mary, the LSO, kind of concurs with that view.
Yeah.
Indeed, Caroline, thank you.
So are we happy to accept that, Councillor Campbell, Councillor McFarlane? Are we happy with that answer?
Yeah, thanks, Convener. On the basis of the legal advice that we've had, I would support granting the licence.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I would concur, Convener.
Lovely, thank you. And I'm in agreement with that. So I think we can consider that granted. We'll just confirm that with Caroline.
Thank you, Convener. So the application has been granted in its entirety, and you will be notified of that decision in writing in early course with your premises licence to you also in early course, and it will of course be clear to you what your inaccessible alcohol display area is, and also what is your accessible alcohol display area. And also you've got Mary LSO who will also be there if you've got any further questions. Is that clear?
That's clear. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Thank you. Right.
So agenda item 10 is a major variation of Spa in High Street, Dalbeattie. So on to a variation now. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Convener. I can see that we've got Miss Lynn Simpson from TLT attending via Teams. Just checking, Miss Simpson, that you can hear me okay?
I can, yes, Caroline, thanks.
Cheers, thanks. So members, this is an application for a major variation in respect to Spa in the High Street in Dalbeattie. The application is detailed at Appendix 1 to the report, and it was received on the 30th of August 2022. We've undergone the statutory consultation process and the 21-day continuous period for notice of the application on our website was the 2nd of September to the 24th of September 2022. The site notice was also displayed in a place and at a height that can conveniently be read by members of the public for that 21-day continuous period. Contrary to what paragraph 2.5 of the report says, I can confirm that signed confirmation of site notice has been received. Last date for objections and representations was the 23rd of September 2022, and no objections or representations have been received in respect to this application. So the application, members, is detailed at Appendix 1. The police, I can confirm, have no adverse comments, and the LSO report confirming no adverse comments is detailed at Appendix 2. So in terms of suggested procedure, Convener, you may just wish to hear from the police, the LSO, with some questions, and then allow Ms Simpson to speak to the application on behalf of her client with any questions you may have thereafter, and then you may wish to allow Ms Simpson an opportunity to sum up prior to going into session. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much. Police Scotland.
Thanks, Convener. No adverse comments from ourselves.
Thank you very much indeed. Mary, LSO.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Part 4 of my report. At the time, I wasn't able to ascertain the reason behind the increase in alcohol display. I think there's been some sort of confusion over what was there before, but perhaps Miss Simpson will be able to confirm the reason behind the increase. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Yes, Lynn.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I can indeed explain that the reason for the increase. I was only involved in this in the last few weeks. I've only just recently joined TLT, and I'm grateful to the LSO for the query because I was trying to find an answer myself. To give a bit of background to this application, CJ Lang have only recently bought over this store. I think it previously was Kinnaird & Son. So that the background behind the major variation application as a whole is really just to bring it in line with the other CJ Lang stores across Scotland. In terms of the increase in capacity, what we have ascertained was, as the LSO alluded to, there was a bit of confusion as to the correct capacity for the units that are actually on the shop floor that CJ Lang took over. And then following on from that, their intention is to update those units in line with their sort of standard display units, which are slightly higher than the existing units. And that's where the confusion came in, because the people at CJ Lang hadn't quite grasped that the height dimensions were changing. They just saw that the layout was the same. So that's where the confusion came from, and that is the reason for the small increase. And then just to run very quickly through the rest of the application. As I said, it's really just to bring the premises license in line with the other CJ Lang stores. We are asking to increase off sales hours on a Sunday to 10 p.m. terminal hour, simply because the store is now going to be open longer. I think the previous operators closed at 6 p.m. on a Sunday, so they had a 6 p.m. terminal hour. So we're just asking for that to be increased to 10 p.m. in line with the statutory hours. We are amending the wording regarding recorded music. Again, just to note with the standard CJ Lang terms, which I know many of you will have heard, because I'm conscious that some of my colleagues addressed you last month for similar applications. So we're just mentioning that it will be SPAR radio that will be played, and it may be prior to commencement of licensed hours. Some other variation, other tidy up on the operating plan, again, just to detail the activities that will be carried out within the store. And again, it's standard wording that I'm sure you've heard of. And other than that, if there is, unless there's any questions, I would just simply ask you to grant the application.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from Councillor Campbell, Councillor McFarlane?
Nothing for me, convener.
Thank you.
None for me, convener.
Lovely. Thank you very much. So with that, are we minded to grant the variation?
Yeah, I'd support that, convener.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to grant for me.
Lovely. And I have no problem with that either. So let's just do the clearing up with Caroline.
Thank you, convener. So, Ms Simpson, your application for major variation has been granted in its entirety, and you'll be notified of that decision in early course in writing with your amended premises licence with you in early course as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honours. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that concludes the actual named licences. So our last two matters are reports that have been received. So item 11 is Licensing Scotland Act 2005. The financial report for 2021 to 22 is to seek the board's approval of the Dumfries and Galloway Licensing Board annual financial report. Has anybody got any questions on the content of the reports?
Yes, convener.
Thank you.
I'd just like to make a quick query. It looks as though we obviously didn't clean our faces in relation to the income against the outlay. That's only likely to increase in coming years in light of the cost of settling staff payments, etc. And I'm wondering what the position is in relation to increasing costs for services or what have you. If that's a national set thing, or is that something that we can deal with locally?
Yep, Sharon, thank you.
Yeah, of course, I can take that question, no problem. The fees are set by statute. Boards do have some discretion into some of the fees that they do set in relation to annual fees, premises licence application fees and major variations. I would suggest that certainly in respect of major variations, we're probably at the higher end of the spectrum throughout Scotland. We set our fees for such applications based on the rateable value of the premises. And we are, like I said, we are one of the highest in Scotland. The annual fees and the new premises licence application fees, again, the annual fees are the maximum that we can set. And the application fees are almost at the maximum as well. What I would probably say to members is, given the fact that application numbers were certainly down in some aspects last year, I would I would like to see what the report this time next year looks like, because we have seen an increase in application fees. Obviously, our costs, our expenditure fees will go up as well, but I'm not convinced that last year or the year before is truly, you know, it actually shows a true picture of what the position is at the moment. So I would suggest that we probably look at this again next year, and once we've got the annual financial report for that year, and then we can have a look at it then. But like I said, we are kind of at the top end of what our maximum fees are at the moment, so we don't have a great deal of leeway, unfortunately.
Yeah, thanks for that response, Sharon. I mean, my main concern is that it shouldn't cost the public in order for private premises to be licensed, and that's my main concern. Thank you.
I sort of actually had asked that question partly in advance as well, about how did this compare to other years, and maybe Sharon, you could share the response that you gave to me about how the whole overall licensing works.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is obviously just for the licensing board. The licensing service as a whole has an entire budget, and yes, we do have to effectively wash our faces. So although this is relative to liquor licensing, we might find the civic government side of the licensing or the gambling licensing that the overall licensing budget is actually comes out fairly even, and that is the case throughout the years. Like I said, the finance have probably given us a little bit of money to kind of clear the deck, so to speak, but it's only been absolutely minimal, and that, like I said, has been based on the last 2 years where the costs aren't truly indicative, or the income isn't truly indicative of what it would normally be. You know, just for reassurance for members, our budget is in normal circumstances. We do wash our face. We don't cost the council or the taxpayer any money. So I'm quite content that we're, you know, the last 2 years have been exceptional, and I would just like to probably see how we're looking this time next year.
Are you happy with that, Andy?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I think given that we've just had 3 new licenses, and I think hopefully the industry is getting back up and running again, probably we're hopefully going to go in the right direction with that. Any other questions, Doogie? Have you got any questions on the report?
No, none for me.
Lovely, thank you. So the this is just for noting, I believe, isn't it? Or just for what's the word? Is to, I'm trying to find the first page.
It requires approving, convener.
Approval, yeah, sorry. Okay, so can we give approval to this report, please?
Yes, please.
Thank you, yeah.
Yep, approved.
Lovely, thank you. And the same for me. So the final item of the meeting is agenda item 12, Licensing Scotland Act 2005, for the annual functions report for the year 2021 to 22. So this includes, in terms of the figures, in terms of the numbers of licenses, and just a review of the general spread between the 4 different areas across Dumfries and Galloway. I've got no questions on it. Any other questions or anything that Sharon, you'd like to speak to at all about it?
No, nothing further to add than what's in the report.
Okay, lovely. So any questions from Councillor McFarlane, Councillor Campbell?
No, nothing from me, convener.
Lovely, thank you.
None from me, convener.
Lovely, thank you. So just judging by the 4 areas, they're all pretty well level across between the years. We'll have to see what happens next year, hopefully, as things rebuild. So presumably we give approval to that report. Certainly I do.
Yes, happy to approve.
Thank you.
Same, happy to approve.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed. And I think with that, that is everything on the agenda, as far as I know. So thank you very much for your attendance and for your diligence in reading the reports. I know we got them think we were waiting for information before they could get printed. So we did get ours, however, delivered to our council room, and had we not gone into the office to pick them up, we wouldn't have got them in time for the meeting. So I think we just need to look at that little admin thing that we were lucky to pick them up basically yesterday, and we wouldn't have had printed copies. So maybe that's just something to watch for future meetings, if that's okay. But thank you very much. Can I conclude the meeting of this Divisional Licensing Board? Thank you to Sandy for your tech, and thank you for everyone attending.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.